Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's Wednesday Wisdom with Elizabeth Eleanor, and we have the beautiful Helen Rowlands here. Very exciting to have you here, Helen.
Thank you.
And today is our last session, and so it's like a bit of a wrap up of everything. Hopefully my internet's going to be okay because it's a little bit choppy for some reason. I've been talking to a woman in the UK this morning, and it was a little bit funny. So hopefully I'm going to be okay. So we're talking about creating a container for your business to be within, and how that relates to our blueprints, I'm assuming.
Yes.
So while I find that while I find us, here we are. Let's jump straight in. So as we were just talking, it's quite relevant to what's going on for me, because the reason I was on this morning, I was talking to a woman in the UK that's going to support me in some new branding that's more relatable to me. So watch this space, ladies. So Helen.
Yeah, so I am an erotic blueprint coach, and so I work in the sexuality space, and people wonder how that can relate to their whole lives, but it so totally does. So I think the skills that we learn in the bedroom or in our intimate relationships really set the pathway for how we do our whole life. So if you're struggling in relationship to set boundaries, you're going to have trouble in your business to create boundaries. If you are not able to make clear asks in your intimate relationship and your other close relationships, how are you going to go in business? So it all relates. But with the blueprints really relate to how you present yourself and who you're serving and how you present your business. So I joined Elizabeth early on. I've been in Women of Light when you only had maybe a couple of hundred people in there, because I'm an energetic and I was attracted to the name Women of Light, because that is an extremely energetic name. So I looked at Elizabeth online. I don't know how I found you, but I found you. And I think that's part of it. The energetic seeks out, the energy and follows it. And I started listening to Elizabeth and thought, this woman makes total sense. Everything that she's on about makes sense to me. She's on a path of growth and transformation. I'm on a path of growth and transformation. So your branding, even way back then, your business name told me so much about you and who you are and, what your mission is in life. And the same as my name, I chose my business name of Pleasure Waves very consciously, because my blueprint is actually energetic and sensual, and the sensual loves pleasure.
Yeah,
so the pleasure part of my name is my sensual, and the waves part, if you're energetically inclined, you know that the waves refers to the energy and how we move in and out. So mine's representing both parts of my blueprint, the pleasure and the waves, the movement of the energy through your life and your day. And, I tell people my business name and it just resonates, like they just get it.
Yeah.
They get what I'm on about just by me telling them. Yeah. So I think, really that this is vital. This is crucial that you understand who you are, because my business name represents who I am. Your business name represents who you are, and who you want to serve. I want to serve women who want to explore their pleasure. I want to serve people who really want to expand out and really learn ways of navigating the waves.
Absolutely. Yes. I love that. And you know, bringing it into the business and branding, because you know, when we start out on a journey, we often are disassociated with what our life, you know what, and we're supposed to do, and
Yes.
it can be a bit of an evolution, isn't it, of discovering and you know, like moving into taking ownership and emerging with your business, because it's got its own entity, and so we can quite easily separate ourselves.
Yes.
But when we bring those two together, of, you know, and that's actually what's been happening for me, and you know, this call that I just got off was like, oh, why hadn't I thought of that? I just happened to mention something, so I'm not going to give away the surprise, because
but it's
you know,
lit you up. I can see. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so excited about it, because
that's right.
Yeah, it's because there's, you know, one of the things that I have been playing around with is having 3 shooting stars, or, you know, glitter and gold, that represents that time that I had that confirmation. I had 3 shooting stars when I was asking, who am I working for, you know, all of those things. And so to be able to bring that in, and the more we talk, the more I understand myself as a shapeshifter. So that sort of relates to what the branding is that I'm creating.
Yeah. Now that you're diving more into that part of who you truly are, that will come into its expression. And you can grow into a shapeshifter as you resolve, you know, which you've been in that process of resolving shadows and resolving different parts of yourself. You now have access to so much more. And that's part of the work that I do. You know, I'm recognizing my shapeshifter parts more. So the shapeshifter has access to all of the energies, all of the different expressions of the blueprint. So they can relate easily to someone who's energetic or sensual, or you can relate to the sexual or the kinky. You don't have any barriers to any of those things any longer. And this is where, you know, you learn to expand into these things, because I think energetic's been your default for a lot of your life.
Yes.
But now
I would say definitely energetic, sensual, because I think I'm very sensual in nature. My whole body, you know, like, you know, it is sensual in nature.
Yes, the round curved.
Yeah, the curvy look. But so it's, as you're right, the more I understand myself, the more I'm allowing those other parts to come in and be okay with them, you know, So
I want to give an example of someone who's not living in their blueprint.
Yeah.
There's a networking group that I go to, you know, one of those things that does breakfasts and stuff every now and again. And the beautiful woman that runs that, on the days when she's running it, she's all bustle and she's all in masculine energy and she's all in hurry, and, you know, you sit there and you do that, and just not breathing, not relaxed. And then when you know, people go around and do their shares and they get to her and she does hers, she gets the applause, but she doesn't receive it. She just pushes on, you know, she stops the applause and just keeps talking and goes on like that. The whole meeting's run in that sort of energy, driven energy. And then the meeting finishes and she smiles and she relaxes and she starts to breathe. And she's beautiful. She's really beautiful. But she is actually harming her business by not being in her authentic self, not just
during the business, during the event.
Yeah, because I find her a bit sort of, officious, and she says, oh, it's good you're here, if you're running a minute or two late, go and sit down, go and take your place, and all this sort of stuff, instead of embracing and saying, oh, being in her true radiant, she's very sensual, saying, giving me a hug and welcoming me or whatever, not businesslike, but to give me a hug, but that is who she truly is.
Yeah.
And to have that radiant smile, it only comes out when she's ticked off everything on her list. Do you get what I'm saying? She's not running her business in her authentic self. I think her business would be double the size that it is if she was more relaxed, and being the beautiful, sensual woman that she is.
She would attract the right energies into what she,
Yes.
Because that energy sort of repels the women that she most probably wants into her business, right?
Exactly. That's what I sense. I think, I like coming to your meetings, but I'm not going to fork out the money to join because I don't want to commit to coming to this regularly because I don't feel fully fed in myself.
Yeah.
And she's the leader. The feeding has to be coming from her. Yeah. So she's somehow or other taken on this more sexual, sort of masculine driven energy because she thinks that's how you run a business.
Well, isn't it interesting, because we define these things from what the world defines them as.
Yes.
But like more and more I'm hearing and seeing. I mean, I even saw a sponsored ad the other day through my scroll. I think the guy's name's Kerwin Ray or someone like that. He's a business guy, and he was like, basically saying, if you think that the business is the way it used to be, then you're wrong. Like, things are really shifting and growing in a very different way. Authenticity is becoming the new norm, you know, like, and so, the people that are holding on to those old definitions are going to find it very challenging, right? It doesn't work that way anymore.
Yeah. So I think people are wanting authentic connection more than ever.
Yeah. And what I'm hearing you say is, the more you understand your blueprint, the more you understand yourself and the dynamics of who you are.
That's
and
right.
feed that into your business, you're going to attract the right tribe, right?
Yeah. And create the energy and the vibe within your business meeting that means people feel really welcome and warm in that situation. For in that particular case. So I wanted to talk about how to move out of that masculine driven energy, because a lot of what we need to do in business can feel very masculine. There's a lot of tasks that you can get caught up in, and I've said it a couple of times as we're doing this, that it's the feminine energy, the yin energy, that's the creative energy, and creative energy is so important in your business. But if your whole day is taken up with, I've got to do these emails and I've got to do this on my website and I've got to do this and I've got to do that, the goddess are going to get you very, very tense and not flowing in that creative energy. So one of the things that I like to teach is reset. Now, I've taught this just recently to a group of women who are mums with young children. I'm not going to call them young mums because they're not young mums, they're mums with young children.
Yeah.
With full working day lives, and how to transition, to come home from work, or you've been at work all day, you've had kids under your feet, and then to want intimate time. But I think this is exactly the same. What do you do when you're getting so caught up in all these things that you feel you have to do in your day? How do you reset your nervous system? So this is what the blueprints teach you too, is how your nervous system functions and what you need. So I'm going to jump up and do a demonstration.
Sounds awesome. What a great way to finish our sessions.
Yeah. All right. So shaking. Just a few moments of shaking.
Okay. Let me get up as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think shaking's good because I actually went to, I was just telling you, I went to Pilates and need to shake that shoulder out.
Yeah, exactly. So just relax your buttocks, relax your shoulders, relax your arms, your neck. And Elizabeth, you can tell me how you feel after you've done this.
It feels heaps better. I've woken up and jumped, like I woke up and did some stuff and then, but I haven't moved today. So it feels really good just to get some movement in my body, right?
Right, now I'm going to show you this waterfall. This waterfall, you scoop up energy from in front of you and bring it up to your forehead and then let it cascade down at your heart. Your hands turn around so you come back to that scoop. Now, that's already reset me completely. Just one
me too.
round. Yes,
yeah.
I thought that might do that for you.
Yeah.
So just moving into that yin energy, and I actually feel turn on growing. I've done this for so long now that my turn on just comes very quickly, and turn on energy is high energy. It just energizes you for doing your work. Yeah, so bring your hands up to your third eye when you come up.
Yeah.
And then bring them down to your heart and then turn them over to create the scoop. Scoop the energy up and come up a little bit close to your crown, the third eye, come down with the heart.
This is like a Qigong, is this a Qigong movement?
Yeah, this is Qigong, this is a waterfall.
Yeah, it feels awesome.
Gets you breathing better.
Very centering.
Yeah.
And I can feel that energy you're talking about. It supports all the chakras.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So you can set a timer, and every couple of hours you jump up from your desk and you do something like that. Do a little bit of shaking and an energy reset like that. But this is feeding the yin channel of the body. The yin meridian runs down the front of the body. Yeah. If you want to make it even more potent, you put your tongue on the roof of your mouth. So you're closing the channel and yeah, I can see this radiant glow in you from a moment of doing that.
Yeah, yes. That felt so good, Helen. Yeah.
Well, see how your day goes now that you've done that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just those two things, you combine them, do you? You shake it all out, get it all loose, and then you do the waterfall.
Yeah, yep. The shaking just moves, gets your body more open and receptive, to the flow. So I just think you can do one or the other. You might, in most places you can do the shaking. In some situations you might not have the comfort to do the waterfall. Yeah, the shaking, when you get used to it, you can do it. It can reset you very quickly.
Well, I can feel already that my lungs are more, I've got more expansion in my lungs. So when I breathe, I can feel it already going deeper. Yeah.
That waterfall you can do with a partner. With an intimate partner. You can both do that as a reset. If you feel like, you want some intimate time, but you're still a bit racy in your head and your thoughts, you can ask them to do it with you. Yeah, and that's another part of creating a great business, is make sure that there is time for intimacy in your calendar. Don't let your business overtake your life. Yes, make sure that you have scheduled those times and that you are not thinking about your business. So the shaking and this, that can help you move out of that whirring mind. The whirring mind is the yang energy. If you can't turn off your thoughts, you've got too much yang energy. Yang energy you get from drinking coffee, from just bustling along and hurrying everything. Yin energy you get from slowing down, breathing, and being present to this front part of your body. You'll sleep better too if you cultivate your yin. But
yeah, right. So you could even do the waterfall before you go to sleep.
Yep.
Yeah, wow. Yeah. Yeah, I'm feeling very blissed out actually. Yeah. Because as I said, I was on this morning at 7:30. I was on talking to someone in the UK. So I've been on the computer for, coming up to an hour and a half already.
Yeah.
And this is my client week on. So I've got a full day till 7:30 till, 7:30 tonight. So I will be implementing that.
Yesterday was my busy day. So a couple more things that I thought I'd like to touch on in terms of business. So I had this lovely, generous guy offer to do some work on my website. It was he was learning to build a business, and he was wanting some practice people to work on. And bless his heart, his heart was in the right place, but he looked at my website, and the first thing he said was, that picture's got to go. And it's a picture of me sitting in a bathtub out in open air, which represents everything about me. I love nature. I love space. I love the energy. I could see a mountain. I could see Mount Kuroi from in this bathtub. And so it's about energy, and it's about sensuality. And okay, so I could have just gone with this guy and said, he's offering me something, he's going to build the business. But I set a boundary. I thought, no, he doesn't understand me. He doesn't understand my business, what I'm trying to represent. He's not going to be able to put together a website in any way, shape or form that represents who I am and what I want people to see. Then I went this last week to do the event that I just spoke about with the women, the mothers with young children. And one of the first things they said was, we love your website. We love that picture. And I thought,
total confirmation, right?
Yeah, you're my people. If that picture says to you that you want to come along to my event, then that picture's doing its work.
Yeah. I agree. And it's it's really interesting, isn't it? And I know, I think we spoke about that after our interview last time, and you were saying, straight away you just knew, like, thank you very much, but no thank you very much. That's right, because we were talking about boundaries, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. And so it goes back to the whole being authentic. When you're living in your blueprint, when you know what your blueprint is.
Yes.
Like when you actually take the time to understand yourself, that's what it's all about, right? You navigate life from that place, from that, you've got to focus, you've got to, instead of, we all tend to look outside of ourselves and the definitions of what intimacy is, and what a woman is, and what a man is, and what like non-gender, and blah 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 blah. Like, we've got so many labels and so many definitions that we navigate the world with, right? Yes. But when you really start to get to know yourself and just be that authentic self, those things happen. The women,
exactly.
I love your website. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, so my clients regularly report to me when they've worked with me for 4 to 6 months that their business has improved. Their intimacy skills have improved. They know themselves better, but the serendipity of the work that we do is that it then cascades out into the whole of their life. So I'm not coaching them on their business. I'm coaching them on their authentic self, truly, deeply knowing who they are.
Yeah.
But the ripple effect of that is just amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've got to stop doing this disconnect, right? Like we disconnect everything. And, you know, this is the pocket of business. This is the pocket of relationships. This is the pocket of self-care. This is, you know, like, and recognize that they actually all are one. They're actually, and it does come back to knowing thyself, having that time to play, you know, create pleasure and self-care and really express ourselves as who we truly are, you know, internally.
Exactly. Yeah. I think that's a great note to finish on, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, look at that. It absolutely is.
Yeah.
It's absolutely been a pleasure, Helen, hanging out with you and sharing this information, because I know, you know, I've worked with you prior to meeting Tim, and you know, I know the work that you do, and I know how supportive it is in getting to know yourself, you know, deeply, and the different layers that and results that, you know, are achieved. And so it's been really, I've loved this whole 5 sessions of being able to do a bit of a deep dive in the way we have to explore and share this wisdom of what you've got to offer with, you know, the women that are in. I need to go back and rewatch the shake exercise. Thank you both. Yes, Libby. Yeah, it was heaps of fun, actually. You need to do it. It was great. And so, yeah, I've just really enjoyed being able to share this. So can you just share again a little bit more about what you offer? Do you have anything in particular coming up that's a bit different, or you know you've got?
Yeah. So my biggest offer for people out there in the community is that they do a Passionate Possibilities call with me. There's no obligation with that call. It's a complimentary call that I offer, and I do a 60 to a 90-minute call, and I do that very deliberately because I'm talking about sexuality. It needs to be, you know, paced, gently paced as a call. And I may make an offer to coach at the end of that call. I don't necessarily. It depends, you know, if I feel that I really have got the skills to work with a potential client. But people get a lot out of that call no matter what.
I got to share that I remember when I had that, because we hadn't met each other physically at that stage. And, you know, I've been discovering myself at 20 odd, you know, 30 years.
Yes.
And you asked questions. I remember going, that's a great question. I remember some of the questions and going, oh, I actually don't know the answer to that.
Yes. Yeah.
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 I remember
fun.
it vividly. Yeah.
What would you do for a sexual indulgence day? Yes.
Yeah.
Is one of the deeper dive questions, but it's designed to get you to start thinking and to start, you know, really exploring more deeply some of those things. I do have an in-person event coming up on the Gold Coast, so people can find that on my Pleasure Waves. I've got to get a bit more organised on that one, but on my Pleasure Waves Facebook page so far, and it'll come up on my website sometime in the next couple of days. So if you're able to attend an in-person event, that's coming up on the 16th of June, I think. And I suggest I'll put my link in for taking the blueprint quiz. You can take a paid version or a free version. If you scroll down in little writing that says the free version, the paid version is my affiliate link. So there could be some money come back to me from you taking that quiz, and get other people you know to take the quiz, because it's a great conversation starter. They're the starting points. And then watching Sex, Love and Goop gives you a bigger idea on Netflix. It gives you a bigger idea of the work that I do. You get to see Jaya and Ian, who are my mentors, and see more of how all of this works.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been an absolute pleasure, Helen. Thank you so much.
My pleasure, totally. Yes.
Enjoy, and if you've been watching the replay, love for you to put #replay. Any questions that you've got, click on the link and check out what your blueprint is, because it is an eye-opener, I tell you. So enjoy, and we will catch you very shortly.